Israel caught carpet bombing chemtrails over U.S. cities, media blackout. Investigators have uncovered evidence of a secret chemtrails campaign targeting U.S. cities, orchestrated by a shadowy Israeli-U.S. startup named Stardust. This Israel-based company claims to be executing the geoengineering scheme to dim the sun. Formed in 2023, Stardust aims to patent its so-called unique aerosol technology to cool the planet by blasting proprietary chemicals into the atmosphere. Based in Israel but legally rooted in the U.S., the company's mission to block sun rays has sparked outrage, with whistleblowers alleging covert operations over American soil, yet the press remains eerily silent. Let everyone know what you Homo sapiens and pirates think and subscribe. Like, share, pick your nose. Getting a foothold on YouTube is impossible without your direct participation. Quick to the point news and info daily. Now back to our story, kids. Modernity.news reports. Instead of universities and federal agencies, Stardust wants private companies to drive the development and deployment of technologies that experts say could have profound consequences for the planet. The company seeks a deliberate transformation of the atmosphere that has never been done. Wired points out that if Stardust's geoengineering technology goes live, it will affect the whole world. The news outlet emphasizes the danger. If a geoengineering project went awry, for example, it could contribute to air pollution and ozone loss, or have dramatic effects on weather patterns, such as disrupting monsoons in populous South and East Asia. Stardust has kept its plans largely secret, and the company has not publicly released details about its technology, its business model, or exactly who works at its company. The secretive organization also wants to sell its proprietary geoengineering technology to governments that are considering making modifications to the global climate, acting like a kind of defense contractor for climate alteration. Stardust is moving forward despite few national and international rules and limited oversight. In fact, a recent report by the company's former climate governance consultant, Janos Pastor, called for the company to increase its transparency, engagement, and communication with outsiders, according to Wired. Pastor says Stardust doesn't have a social license for geoengineering activities, meaning the company has apparently not been open to public or peer scrutiny about its intentions. It hasn't published any of its research and has no code of conduct. Stardust CEO and co-founder Yanai Yedvab is a former deputy chief scientist at the Israel Atomic Energy Commission, an agency that oversees the country's clandestine nuclear program. Stardust has 25 physicists, chemists, and engineers. Its chief product officer, Amiad Spector, is a physicist and a former employee of Israel's nuclear research program. Stardust CEO and co-founder Yanai Yedvab is a former deputy chief scientist at the Israel Atomic Energy Commission, an agency that oversees the country's clandestine nuclear program. Stardust has 25 physicists, chemists, and engineers. Its chief product officer, Amiad Spector, is a physicist and a former employee of Israel's nuclear research program. Stardust's plans include distributing proprietary aerosol particles through a machine mounted on an aircraft. The company is currently engineering the particle and a prototype of the aircraft mount, as well as developing a system for modeling and monitoring the climatic effects. It plans to test those particles in the stratosphere in the coming year. The Wired report confirms there's little data showing how well they might work, and that it's going to be much harder to be confident about knowing what its risks are. There are no clear international rules and oversight for geoengineering, meaning there aren't any limits on this kind of work. As a result, an individual company or government can take dramatic gambles with the climate in ways that could affect billions of lives, and it doesn't have to get permission from anyone to do it, according to the technology news outlet. The Center for International Environmental Law, or CIL, says Stardust's efforts could even violate the Convention on Biological Diversity's de facto moratorium on geoengineering activities. Representatives for CL say Stardust is accelerating a reckless race and that its project would likely be controlled by a handful of major powers and corporations. Stardust's clients appear to be mostly government-related, as it believes solar geoengineering will play a critical role in addressing global warming in the coming decades. The company is attempting to patent its geoengineering technology. Shuchi Talati, founder of the Alliance for Just Deliberation on Solar Geoengineering, a Washington, D.C.-based nonprofit, claims Stardust isn't adhering to any principles of governance. She says Stardust hasn't done any public consultation for its outdoor field tests, nor has it released any data or other information about them, making it much harder for people to trust the company. They are operating in a vacuum, in the sense that there is no social license to do what they are trying to do, she says. And Benjamin Day, senior campaigner on geoengineering for environmental group People at Friends of the Earth, says geoengineering is a dangerous distraction. Day argues that because there's no private market for geoengineering technologies, Stardust will only make money if it's deployed by governments, meaning they're kind of trying to hold governments hostage with technology patents. Stardust is funded by an estimated $15 million in venture capital funding, primarily from Oz Ventures, a Canadian-Israeli VC firm, in addition to a small investment from SolarEdge, an Israeli energy company. Wired points out that Oz's partners and strategic advisors have strong ties to Israeli military and intelligence agencies, including former senior directors of agencies like the Mossad, Shin Bet, and Unit 8200, as well as of the CIA and FBI, according to its website. Oz also invests in AI-based surveillance and security tech in Israel, such as through the company Coresight, which has provided face recognition tech for Israel's war in Gaza. Duncan McLaren, a researcher with the Institute for Responsible Carbon Removal at American University, says geoengineering technology tends to be a space in which public involvement in decisions is utterly sidelined. He states there is a real potential for this to be a highly undemocratic process of moving us down a slippery slope to solar geoengineering. Hope you learned something today. Now, set down your phone and go out and experience life. You folks look like zombies with those things.